Louis Greenwald. He's Democratic Majority Leader for the New Jersey Assembly. Mr. Greenwald, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk about the Sandy Funds investigation in a second, but first I want to put up a new poll that came out a short time ago from Monmouth University. It shows a 6-point drop in Christie's approval rating among people in New Jersey, that the margin of error is more than 4 points. Doesn't really seem like he's taking much of a hit in Garden State. Your response?
Well, his popularity, as shown in the election, is incredibly strong. I think it's part of why, as you heard on the ads for Sandy, that he promoted himself through those ads as he was talking about Sandy recovery. The reality is, though, that this is just the beginning of these investigations. I think the governor has established a level of credibility, and when he spoke last week and said he had nothing to do with this, I think the public wants to believe him, and at this point there's no evidence to the contrary.
Jim Garrity, a conservative writer at the National Review, he skeptically called this new probe amazingly convenient timing. The idea that the Sandy funding investigation comes right after the bridge scandal. Is there anything to that? Are Democrats sensing weakness and deciding to go after some things that they've wondered about for some time, or some weaknesses in the governor's armor?
Well, this is a federal probe, so I'm learning about it much like you all are as it's being reported in the news today. So I don't believe that this is certainly not any orchestrated effort by Democrats in the state of New Jersey. I also think, as I listened to your lead-in with the story, that they've been looking at this through HUD at the federal level for a period of time as an inquiry, and have decided, based on what they saw in the inquiry, to take it to a full investigation.
So in the Star Ledger this morning, 2 Democratic mayors of beach towns, Belmar and Point Pleasant, expressed support for the ads, and Christie being in them, one of the mayors saying he was the face of Sandy relief. It made sense to make him the face of these ads. What did you think of that?
Well, I think, look, that's the real question. Was he the face of Sandy relief, or was he the face of Sandy relief because of the ads that they ran? There's no doubt that New Jersey needed to invest in telling the public that we were open for business. Tourism and our beaches are a $40 billion a year industry for us. It's the backbone of our economy. It's a treasure that's critically important. That money needed to be spent on advertisements to tell the world that New Jersey is a vacation and destination place. Was it necessary to spend the money to promote the governor? Is that what it was done? I assume the investigation will review that. It will determine who did the ad, how much was the ad, what was the impact of the ad, did it result in tourism coming to the state? Was there a better offer or a better promotional piece that would have done something different without the governor's involvement, but that would have had an even greater impact on tourism? But at the end of the day, we needed to tell people that New Jersey was open for business. We were on the road to recovery, and we were ready to welcome them as families have come to New Jersey to build memories on their vacations for generations.
But, sir, the Obama administration approved the ad campaign, the Stronger Than the Storm campaign.
Yeah, and again, you know, we're learning about this literally as we go through the news today. Was not even aware, as that was federal money that had come in, that type of approval, maybe it was required, maybe it wasn't. I don't know what the process would be for such approval. Again, I don't know that the governor needed to spend that in order to promote himself and his family. His popularity ratings were obviously very high, as you even referenced in the Monmouth poll today. But the reality is that there is something that has piqued the interest of the federal authorities to dig further here and go beyond just an inquiry and to look at what they are considering a full-blown investigation.
And, of course, former Democratic Governor Jim McGreevey appeared in some tourism spots in 2004 with his now ex-wife and daughter. I want to go back to the Bridgegate scandal, if we could, sir. New investigations into the whole Bridgegate controversy scandal. The Assembly already released 2,000 pages of documents, nothing indicating that Christie knew directly. Do you know of a smoking gun? Is there definite proof that Christie knew of this? Or do you believe there's one to find? When does this end?
Well, there is no proof that the governor had any knowledge of this. All we have at this point is his statements that he knew nothing about this. He did not literally learn about it, in his words, until 8:50 the morning before his press conference. I think what we do know is that we've had 2 people resign from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. We've had his deputy chief of staff be fired, and the governor himself has replaced his campaign manager and asked him not to proceed with any involvement in the RNC. What we also know is that the governor himself, after looking at this, has said that he is going to have a full investigation of his own executive office to see who knew what. Really, that's where the legislature is right now. We're reviewing the documents, we're reviewing the emails. We know one thing for certain. I think speculation is certainly that the woman, Bridget Kelly, would not have thought of this idea on her own, would not have come up with the idea to close the traffic lanes, would not have come up with the idea to fabricate a study. The reality is that came from somewhere else. I think the greatest thing that could happen next is if the governor truly wants to get to the root of this, what I have asked for, what other members have asked for, is that we provide those emails with complete transparency, that we really start to look at who was on those emails and who might have known about this prior to. We know clearly there was an abuse of power. We don't know where that abuse of power is rooted. We don't know how deep it goes, and we will only find out through the cooperation and the transparency on those emails.
All right, New Jersey.